everyone. Good morning. Yes, it's a beautiful Friday morning, and this is another episode of the Get Naked Show with Dr. Aura. And today I have a friend and colleague with me. His name is Dr. Wade Anninson. I hope I said that right. And in naked style, we are going to welcome him and let him introduce himself. Tell us a little bit. Yes, please. This man.
We are going to stay. Okay, we're good.
Yes, I just put in the description there that you took your shirt off and like minus who knows what weather. And yes, and this is going to be your famous thing.
No.
I share that with my girlfriends, okay? I want you to know that. But anyways, Dr. Wade, thank you so much for being part of this conversation. I know it's very early in your side of the world, and you decided to have a naked chat with me, and I'm super grateful because I know your beautiful heart, and I know this is going to be an amazing conversation. But for the people that don't know you, are not as lucky as me, can you introduce yourself? Tell us where you're from, how long you've been practicing, whatever you want to share. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, first of all, thanks so much, Dr. Aura, for having me here today. I love the work you're doing. I love what you represent. And as we kind of just shared in some conversation, that your gift is your ability to just like be your wonderfully raw, authentic self. And that invites other people to. So, thank you for having me here. My history as a chiropractor, as a natural health care provider, was one, I think, by affinity from how my life transpired. And as you know from all your contacts and our colleagues, that many of us have had stories that are just like remarkably life-changing, and boom, here we are in the profession kind of thing. And like many of those stories, I feel like I didn't have a choice, like it chose me, because I couldn't see the world through a mechanistic eye, so to speak. And that's taken me down quite a journey. So I've been in practice for 25 years. I've been a chiropractic patient since I was 4, started with ear infections, and that's where it started to influence my life. And that opened up doors for me that, of course, I wouldn't be here today had that not been the case. And thank God for mothers being healthcare decision makers in our families, because my father, being type A, very talented guy, but did not see health, right, as men many times don't. Mm-hmm. If he were making the decisions, I wouldn't be here today. So my mom, thank God, made those decisions and kind of overrode a man's opinion in the house with that, which is great. That's kind of what happens. 90% of those decisions are made in the household. I say that because her philosophy and questions she asked back then were uncommon. Like, they wanted to put tubes in my ear. She said, that doesn't seem right. I'm going to try something else. And back in 1969, 72, when that was going on, 72, 73, that's not when you basically, said, hey, I'm going to take my child to a chiropractor back in the day versus, medically, whatever. So the evolution was holistic, and yet the dogmatic stuff was just like layering on, and we can get more into that. But there's this weird paradox that started showing up. And over the years, my involvement with chiropractic has been very devout, but also out of balance.
Love that.
And out of balance from the standpoint of my expectations, feeling successful when my colleagues and peers would say, yes, of course, you're successful, but if you don't feel it inside, mm-hmm. for whatever reason, and maybe I should repeat that, for whatever reason we don't feel successful inside, it is going to undermine what the body's expression and manifestation is. And so today I'm in Seattle. That's not where I'm from. It's not where I practice. I am going through some health challenges, and everyone does. So I'm not unique. But what it's taught me from being a healthy, fit, health-minded, health-conscious, striving, ambitious man in human being is that there's this beautiful dance, as you know, as we all kind of know intellectually, but many times aren't really living that or practicing that. And there's this clash versus congruency and alignment. And alignment's a really good medical or physical term, rather, biomechanical term. But alignment, when we talk about spiritually, not religious, but spiritually from the standpoint of, are we in our shoes? Are we open with our heart?
Yeah.
Or are we living someone else's truth? As crazy as that is, I found, and I'm having to awaken. I'm being asked by the universe to be woke up from a thought I was awake to the realization of where I actually am. And that's been humbling, to say the least.
Wow. Well, thank you for being here. And I just found out about your health struggle, and I'm in shock right here with the audience too. And I think what you just said is so raw, real, and naked. This is exactly what we speak about uncovering our truth and getting congruent with ourselves, so we can see, we can remove those lies, right? Strip down the lies, strip down the masks, strip down the expectations. And I can't wait to hear a little bit more, because I want to know what made you awaken to that. What woke you up? What told you, okay, it's time to see the truth, or it's time to face why I'm here, or to see the incongruences that brought me to this point. I just love to see, I think that's my biggest passion in life, is to see that aha moment in people, to see when they awaken and they're like, so that's the reason. So I want to hear way more about that, if you want to share, please.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't like, it's hard to talk about, well, let's just start with the word vulnerability, right? One you know very well, and one I appreciate about you. That is not that welcome of a word and experience for men, and it's not taught to be okay. I came from a family of 7 kids. I'm number 6 of 7. What a blessing to be in that chaotic kind of experience. And yet, part of my experience, on my perception, this is not on my parents. They did a fantastic job, and I was extremely blessed. But somewhere in that mix, I was a duck that stayed in line. And I was experiencing that I'm no better than any of the other ducklings. So don't stand out, stay in line, because my parents' role was to take care of everyone fairly, and they did a great job of being fair. So back on me, my interpretation, my journey along the way was kind of like, stay in line, don't step outside the lines, kind of be likable, contactable, don't rock the boat, whatever you do, don't make waves, and don't be candid. My mom wanted to name me Frank. Now, she didn't want to name me Frank, but I remember when I was about 10 years old, right around that age where I was conscious and taking things in and just processing, and I wanted to please my mom. So the relevance of this story is setting up patterns of behavior that are maybe virtuous back then. They help us get through a scenario, they help us learn, develop, and adapt to life, and then we overuse them and they're no longer necessary, or, as you have stated in the past, serving us. Now, we just go on until what? Somewhere in life it shows us, and it's like, well, how did I fall when I was doing good work, or I was doing the right things? So this is several folder where this could spin out of, but that behavioral pattern established this deep-rooted sense of always, let me rephrase that, of not fully expressing myself for whatever reason. Again, back to whether it's fear of hurting someone, fear of hurting myself, so when I was 10, my mom said, I should have named you Frank. Well, the name of my podcast is Frankly Speaking with Dr. Wade for a reason. So it will change and evolve. That won't be the name forever. But the bottom line is the voice has to come out. Yeah. And so that voice isn't that my opinion is right. The voice is I have one, and I do have an opinion. And it doesn't matter who buys it or doesn't. And it's there intentfully to help and to serve and to express, not to be misunderstood. But this whole turmoil within of not being congruent with who you really are and just living through someone else's lens. So I imagine my mom, 7 kids, and she, blue collar family. She did her best to make sure we were all provided for. Well, guess what? She was scrambling. So her responses to me were simply, I should have named you Frank. Well, why? Because you say what's on your mind. And then I stopped saying what was on my mind.
Wow. So
instead of, and it was not her fault. So please hear that. I mean, I love her dearly. She's passed. She was, here. She's the reason I'm in holistic healthcare. But it's that little interpretation, which is back on me and my journey, into how it kind of started to change who I thought I was to please others. So this comes back to us in life, is where we are today. And what I've learned with what I'm going through health-wise is that, so basically, thyroid cancer is so freaking common. It's amazing. And it is only on the rise because of what we're being exposed to, as well as that's maybe for another day, another topic, because it's so deep, and my head's been so involved in research and understanding, and then all the myths around it, the mainstream debunking the mainstream pattern, which is why I'm in Seattle today, is to get some tests done regarding actually more information for somebody that actually may think outside the box and consider the patient rather than the protocol. And what that means is that protocol is pretty standard. Ectomy, period. Thyroid nodules, what type of nodules, how many are they, what size are they, A, B, C, D, linear medical treatment, linear medical practice. And they're not considering the fact that I've completely revamped. I was already healthy diet. I already ate clean. I already exercised regularly. I don't have cholesterol problems. So when you stack up the things I was quote unquote doing right for health, guess what? There's a missing piece in there, right? And so that was the message for me that slapped me in the face that said, Wade, you're not beyond dysfunction when you're not living congruent, no matter what you do, A through K, at some level, you will show the incongruency. So back to us. At some level, we will show where, it's just a matter of time. And that's not saying that to be fearful or have a gray cloud above your head. It's to say, wake the F up. So WTF, wake the F up, right? Is we don't have to. So my message is ultimately, how do you assess detoxification, nutritional balance, so structure and alignment, and then looking at all the systems of the body to go, all right, now I have parameters, because medically they're not looking at those. Functional medicine, they're still actually kind of cookbooking it, so they can come up with reading the blood work differently. So my world has been exposed to all the nuances, some fantastic, incredible experts, and some dead ends that were just like, oh my gosh, there's just no more. For example, someone will have their expertise in this area, and then all of a sudden will just stop when it comes to how the body metabolizes. Well, you got to take the whole thing into consideration.
But that's not how the medical world looks at it. They see it as where body is parts, and you're just what I've been hearing, and I just heard this for the first time this morning, and I was super surprised because I know you are, to me, the picture of health, and I've said it publicly that I think you're just such a good-looking man. I tell Tell your wife that you're just beautiful inside and out, and just, I mean, if I had to say to a boyfriend, say, hey, this is a picture of health, please look like him. So this is very much of a surprise. And what I've been hearing is, where did you discover the incongruences? Where did you discover the lies? Because that sometimes is all in our heads. And yes, just like you mentioned, we can be doing, you were already eating healthy, you were already structurally aligned, you were already, exercising, you were already to a certain degree, because I know you were mentally fit, shall we say, right? Mm-hmm. You kept your mind busy with the right stuff. Let's just describe it as that. Where was now, because I'm super curious to know, where you saw that you had some incongruence, or where were the lies you were telling yourself that you think got you into this mental stress that produced this problem in a physical form?
You just asked a super loaded question.
I know, sorry.
I say that because introspection, everybody's values are different, first of all. Mm-hmm. So some people don't value theoretical. So of the 6 values, being a behavioral analyst, the value utility, theoretical, aesthetic, traditional, individual, and political. Anyways, the 6th one I may have wrong there, but case in point, my values are utility, theoretical, and aesthetic. What does that mean? It means they're way above the line, but I'm not high traditional and I'm not high individual. So I don't have this book I'm trying to sell. But yet that's someone else's value, and that's okay. In other words, here's my book, here's how you should live. That's not my role. Mm-hmm. My role is, when I put time in or energy in, my remuneration is the value or fulfillment. Did I learn something? Did I earn something well? Do I feel good about it? So there's some form of exchange. Then the theoretical is constantly have to be learning. And then the aesthetic is I need form and harmony. Well, that's high freaking maintenance if you ever heard it. So I share that as a premise because now everything is seen through those eyes. If my values drive my behavior, that's one thing. If my values dictate my behavior, that's a whole new stress. Now I can't live outside of that, and I can't see the value in someone who doesn't see that. So when you say, where did you notice this? Oh my God. I noticed it by the universe being so blatant that they showed me a lump on the side of my neck while I was shaving. And I'm like, what? No. Look what I do. Look who I am. None of that matters, and it certainly doesn't add up under my rules.
Yep.
But it isn't my rules. I'm playing a bigger game, and I'm really the guest of a bigger game. So I had to backtrack and continue to backtrack to go, where, Wade, did you get off track? And where did your lifestyle and some of the positives we talked about, the quote unquote positives, where did they either prolong the exposure of this, like allowed me to get further down the road, or where, or what kind of role did they even have? So I literally just started asking more questions. So my theoretic value is like, I gotta find out, I gotta understand, I gotta learn. Everyone's not like that. Some who don't value the theoretical side might just go to the doctor and say, I got this thing, would you just get rid of it?
Exactly.
Would you please just get rid of that? And I ask the question, and it doesn't mean it's right for everyone, because again, I'm not here shooting on somebody else. I've done that to myself enough. Is that what is right for the patient? What's right for this patient? What are your expectations? What do you want to see happen? Why now? Why now are you choosing to do something about this? Well, because it's actually sticking out, or it's actually affecting my time with my kids, or I can't sleep, or it's affecting my relationships, or you know what, it scares me. Okay, great. Now we have something to go with. So for me, I asked the question, first of all, I lost my mom in 2006 when I opened my new office. sold a practice, completely relocated, took several months off, rebooted my hard drive, got back, opened a new office, boom, my mom passed away. 6 years later, my dad passed away. Family broke down completely. All the siblings were held together by the matriarch, my mom. Mm-hmm. So those dynamics had a destructive experience in my body. Did I feel it at the time? Probably, but I pretty much ignored it like just emotions, like men do.
Yeah.
And I'm really super good at being stupid about emotions. And I say that because if someone can understand an emotion and just acknowledge it and give it space, that's what I'm learning to do. Mm-hmm. But before, it was just, that doesn't feel good. Where do I need to move my avoidance pattern now? Like, avoid that thing. Instead of it, acknowledging that it's okay to realize it. Definitely, yeah, until you can't, the analogy is that you keep putting it under the rug, sooner or later, you're tripping over this giant mound. Well, the gift in my life has been this, because it's completely shifted my perspective. For one, both the doctor of the future is a patient. And unless you are the patient and you actually have questions about solving whatever you're experiencing, then it will show up again in another part of your life. So the cumulative traumas I had, on top of, this is the biggest kicker, Aura. This is where it all has led back to. So I can say, well, I lost this person. I mean, then I went back and said, sorry about the noise. I lost one of my best friends at 24 while I was in chiropractic school. I was in the student clinic, and I was seeing patients. And I remember I took a call in the clinic at Palmer College, and she said, "Chad, your best friend died." I'm like, a pulmonary embolism. His lifestyle and mine separated in college because he went one path, I had a girlfriend and went another path, and that was the universe pulling me, and that was his path doing what he did. Amazing person who taught me a ton, but rocked my world. But did I grieve? Not well. I just have never been a good griever because I've kind of shoved and buried. And so I see this as all part of that same equation of experience and not making it okay with who I really am, because I felt like I had to be somebody else and do certain things. So I became more of a task, ambitious, driven man instead of, and a producer, which ultimately answers your question. Where did I start why do we drive? I'm not making drive and ambition wrong, but why do we drive? I had to ask that question. What am I truly after? Because if I'm after acceptance or self-love, well, guess what? I'm never going to fill it. I can have all kinds of platform success speaking in our profession, which I've had the pleasure and the honor to do, to represent, to teach other chiropractors, students, to influence. Still an empty shell. So I haven't owned up to who I am, and that's part of this big lesson. And you and I discussed the gift in this. I truly am blessed with this happening because I'm living more in the present now than ever.
Wow. Whew. Well, that was a loaded question with a loaded answer, and I'm so grateful you went there and you opened up, because hi to everybody that's watching. I know this is a different Naked Talk, but it is exactly what I teach in my Naked series. This is it. It's living according to your values, discovering your truth, and finding your true love, which is from within. So you don't have to keep pretending or using the mask or having to do or living according to other people's expectations or the world, and avoiding the feelings that come from within, because we just need to do and produce and learn and be significant when we're not really feeding that inner person that needs to heal from past wounds, that needs to be tend to from present emotions, that needs to be built up. Because it's not going to be the world, it's not going to be the accolades, it's not going to be the money, it's not going to be anybody actually is going to come from you. And you just said something right now that was just so gifting, that you just saw the gift. We spoke about it right before this interview because you had to tell me about this. I didn't know. And that you see the gifts already. You're becoming the patient. You see the gifts, how it's been healing you, all this past things that you kept ignoring and putting under the rug. You've been healing, and that's what's going to heal your physical body. I mean, this sounds kind of wishy-washy. Please don't, no hate mail, but it's a true healing. That inner part is going to then complement the healing of the physical, shall we say? Let's just say it that way. Maybe sounds better. So if you're there, if you have any questions for very open, naked Dr. Wade, please post it below. Thank you for watching. Thank you to, hi Tim, hi Larry, hi Dr. Ed. We love and appreciate you. Thank you for being there.
Hey, by the way,
yes, go ahead.
There's nothing that you said, so I'm going to be frank. Nothing you just said was wishy-washy. You just danced around your heart, which is, you know, the difference of, it's true, the healing has begun, and it started to begin when I let go of the need to control the outcome. And I am a control freak. So if Dr. Ed's watching, hey brother, I love you, man. And from one control freak to another, we all have levels of control.
Yes.
And it's not like I wasn't doing healthy things, but it's a big picture health. It's looking at all facets of health, not thinking that just because I do these behaviors, then I am this. And just like back, and that translates right over the matrix of success. Just because I do these things
does not
mean I'm successful. So when you say, man, that Dr. Aubrey, you are powerful when you stand in it, and you standing in it is, you know, that for me to fool myself in another direction, like, oh, now I'm doing these things, versus opening what I'm really, so I'm asking you, because you're helping me. I need to learn how to open my heart up and live from here more than here. And I've definitely lived more here. Even if I start to open up in the heart, I overthink it and talk myself into or out of. And now I'm come to terms with that noise. So A, I want to honor you, and or B rather, thank you. But at the same time, you were not wishy-washy at all. It was very, that part of healing is what people need to know more of, that they're part of that process. So me letting go is going to allow Nate to do the job. Well,
and you're ready. Thank you so much for those words. And you're ready doing it. But I'm going to give you a naked tip, and this is just very superficial, but very deep. Just
at the same time,
what's going to keep you in your heart more than in your mind, because I am a reformed control freak type A personality, and life has gave me a few turns that I never expected. I never thought a person like me would end up in. And that just shook my world and changed so many of my bases, or what I thought were my foundations, and they were not real. They were not really my life. And so it changed it all around. And we cannot compare apples to apples here. For sure, we cannot. But I hear you so clearly. And I just I wish I had you next to me and I could hug you, because I get this. I get this so much. And I'm just so proud of this realization, because so many people take them months and years to see. But what you can do to stay more in your heart is what you're doing now, which is being present. Always come back to the present, come back to the gratefulness, come back to the awakened soul that it is right here, right now. And I'm always asking the questions, because the answers are always within. They're not somewhere else. They're not in a seminar or in a book or nothing. When it comes to this stuff, the answer, we're just not asking the right questions. So always, why am I feeling this? Where does this come from? What does this mean to me? Why am I in my head, right? Always just go back. Why am I in my head? Why do I always pat? And when you see the answers and you see how they come back, start clearing the truth, then you go back and start it all again. And it's constant and constant and constant, just like with anything that you want to reap results in, right? Just like with meditation or exercise or chiropractic, it's constant, it's repetition, it's coming back to the center, clearing the root always. And you do this daily and constantly. And it just takes for just to be aware. So for a person that is going through a physical challenge like you, I would just be so aware that you count your breaths every day. Just become so aware of the air coming in and out, because nothing more present than that. And I didn't teach that. I'm sure there's plenty of people that came up with many systems that help, but one that I feel helps at least me when I'm very stressed and I'm in my head and I think I'm not good enough to even be having this conversation with you, because I have those demons too, right? And I get back here and I get away from here, and then I become inauthentic. So this happens to me too. I deal with it, but I just have my circle has gotten tighter. So I get back to my heart faster. I'm like, okay, so it's time to sit down and count your breaths, girl. It's just, what is the air going in and out, and what are you feeling, and what is tingling through your hands? What's happening right now? So it's becoming present and acknowledging that we are humans, right? And we're spirits having human experiences, but while we're here, we're going to have to acknowledge this body, this soul, the feelings, what we are going through on a minute-to-minute basis. But the counting of just getting back, whatever you use, the counting of your breath sounds silly. I know it does, but it gets you back to center, because what can you focus on when you're counting your breaths, when you're just watching that air in and out? That's all you can at that point. That point, you cannot go in your head, because you cannot do both things at the same time. And yes, meditation and what you're doing, whatever you're doing is working. Whatever you're doing is healing you. I cannot believe that in such short time, from the time you found this out to right now that I just found out, you have seen so many realizations. I mean, you're not giving yourself enough credit. This is amazing. Amazing. So your healing is going to be fantastic. And I can't wait to see this blog post for your daily journey that I want to see, because it will bless so many others. While you're going through these realizations, Dr. Wade, could you please log it down? Jot it down. Keep a journal. Keep something that is going to, because this journey will teach so many others, and we cannot be selfish to keep it to ourselves.
You are impactful. Thank you. And by the way, I have people to thank. I see.
Yes, there's people there.
Dr. Randall's on there too, and he was also very helpful right in the beginning because of some of his experiences. So I've had nothing but great people around me. My whole life I've been blessed with that. So that's why I mean, don't think I didn't go through anger, and I don't go through, fear. Fear is what I'm challenged with every day. So my breathing, to your point, and you are confirming more and more of that, is that's the nurturing part that's hard for me when I'm forward thinking and I'm out here in the future trying to create this or that, or worried about this or that, or I'm regretting something and playing an old loop from the past. And you said something absolutely golden, is that, and I love how affirming that is too, is it's a constant job every day. It's like 50 first dates. In my case, it's 365 times 49 years. And I mean, all the stressors that came with being in practice, having an associate, forcing myself into a legacy, doing things the way other mentors of mine had. I was forced to wake up and go, Wade, what do you want? And that's, now I can't even answer the question, because I see it and go, I don't want that. Apparently I don't want that. I get to create this. What do you mean I get to create this? I'm an artist. So I get to create, and now it doesn't have to have a dollar value to it. It has to have a heart value.
Exactly.
And that's a whole different lens to see through for me. So I appreciate you.
Oh, me too. Me too. Thank you for having this chat. Thank you for opening up on Facebook, out of all places. And thank you for being so raw and real. And I'm with you in this journey. We are going to talk way more often than this, let me tell you. So we are going to stay in touch and yes, because you helped me with your words this morning. So if I can be of service to you, I am here. I'm here for anything you need. This is going to be done, and but you need to start lugging that down today. I want you to start do not get in your head, just get in your heart and put exactly what you are going through every day. That's it. Just don't even think if it makes sense, if it rhymes, if anybody's gonna read it. Who cares? Do not do it for this. This is gonna be a big gift to so many people because you are the patient's doctor, the doctor patient. This is going to be at such an amazing level that I can't wait to read your journey and to watch it, to help you to see the transformation. And I'm so proud of you. I love and appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here, for coming on. This is what Get Naked is all about, you guys. This is it. This is it. I mean, it couldn't have been more naked. And when we said we were going to do this, I had no clue. So thank you, universe, for doing this. And God, you are amazing for just for letting me have this chats and for people to feel like they can open up with me. I feel like I'm going to get out of my head for a second and say that this is all worth it. So thank you, because it's with
thank you. Thanks for your time, and keep up what you're doing. I love it. I love what you're doing.
Okay, thank you so much, you guys. Go have yourself a blessed Friday. Please keep us posted, Dr. Wade. We are with you in this journey. You are not alone. And so many of us go through the same exact things. We think we're alone. We're in this bubble. We're not. We're not. I know what I know, and I still do my exercises every day because I get in my head. I need to go back to my heart. So it's a circle, circle, circle constant. You know what? There's not an expert. This is daily work, daily, just with everything. And again, thank you. You guys have yourself a blessed day. If you need to contact us, please message us. We would love to see any comments below. If you like this episode, like, comment, share. Give some props to Dr. Wade, who opened up on Facebook about his physical condition and about his awakening since then. So please appreciate that, because we'll all learn from his journey. Thank you so much. Everybody have yourself a blessed day. Be good, be kind to yourself, love yourself, stay true, stay naked. Ciao. Gracias, Dr. Te quiero mucho. Ciao.
Poquito español.